Yo, what's good? How's it going? Look, I'm glad you're here. My name is Albert Williams III, and welcome back to the Uncommon Legend Experience. Today, I got my boy Jeremy Newton, aka Mustard, way back in the Gap.
Back in the Gap.
Yeah, so
2017.
2017. I be thinking it's 16, but it's 17 because I was there a long time.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Anyway, all right. Introduce yourselves to the people, who you are, what you do, where you be, and all the things.
All right. My name is Jeremy Newton. From Columbus, Mississippi. Born and raised. Currently teach and coach. Teach geometry, coach football and baseball.
You said old man.
Not really. I'm a young man. 90s baby, you know. And yeah, we're just on the path that God has us on right now.
Something like that. But yeah, it really do be like that. Like, I mean, so backstory, we met years ago working at summer camp, and like in the most oddest of like summer camps, like a place I never would have like really thought that I would see myself, but I just landed there. You know, because as life would have it, the Lord would, you know, orchestrate. This camp opens up after I was like, you know, or positions for this camp open up when I was a youth director, and I had this opportunity to work there. And then the next summer, you came through because they were like recruiting like your college.
They were recruiting, but my mom, her coworker, before she retired or whatever, she said, "Hey, we have this volunteer opportunity. You know, you can get volunteer hours. Could potentially lead to a job." I'm like, okay, cool, sure. They bring me down there to lake cleaning.
Yeah,
and that's my first experience.
Yeah.
And so they seen how, you know, well I cleaned the lake, or, you know, how hard of a worker I was, and they was like, "Hey, would you like to come for the summer?" And a couple of months later, here I was.
Say less. Yeah, it just be like that sometimes. Like if you've never worked at a camp setting, like you end up there in the most peculiar of ways. Like you're like, now I'm like doing this thing, but literally it's because for me it was literally my mentor was like, yeah, I saw this thing on Facebook because, you know, 2015, like no 2016, I'm sorry, like that's the way that you get information out is Facebook. Not really Instagram quite yet, because Instagram was still pretty young, even though it was like 5-6 years old.
Right. I think like, Instagram still had its first original logo.
It still had
the brown little stream.
The brown, but I don't even think you could do stories yet.
Nah.
Like, yeah, I mean, it was like, I mean, like bare bones. This is happening. Like the graphic wasn't even extravagant. Like, so it's like how we even got there is nowhere near what the conventional methods are for like today in like 2025.
Right, because now if somebody wants to get somebody to work at a camp, all right, cool, post on social media, post on Instagram, make a reel, make a TikTok, you know, send it to your friends, share it, repost it,
put it on your website,
put it on your spam, all these different avenues where, you know, people can get access to information. In the midst of all of that, going back to 2017, still was enough information to where we ended up meeting at that camp. Yeah, friendship grew from there instantly, and, you know, we're here. What? 8 years later?
8 years later. Still on the same level of tomfoolery, because this man, I can't. So tell me, or talk to us a little bit about, you took a little bit of a unconventional path to get to where you are, I would say, like in terms of like teaching and coaching. What was your first major? Your first major was like?
So my first major was just strictly math.
Right.
And so went to EMCC, was playing football there for a year and a half. Last Chance U season 1.
I was about to say Last Chance U.
Yeah, so that was my freshman year. Ended up getting cut the day before the first game going into my sophomore year. And so, you know, couldn't transfer anywhere, but it is what it is, kind of goes.
That was before NILs, before you could really move and transfer and get things going fast, because the system back then was terrible.
But, you know, I still had academic scholarship there. It wasn't no purpose of me trying to transfer anywhere else. Was going to go try to walk on at Jackson State, but they didn't have any housing. I waited late, didn't listen to my mom, and so ended up going to MEW.
Always gotta listen to mama.
Yeah, that is a fact.
Mama, if you watching this, yes, I said it. Leave me alone.
You know,
it's like, I told you. Yes, I know. Yeah, so like.
But yeah, and so when I got to the W, like I said, my major was still maps. Backstory: the college is Mississippi University for Women. All right, now it is a historically women's college, but in 1982 it integrated, and so that's whenever it allowed males to join its campus. Right. So while the name of the school is still Mississippi University for Women, there are males. We have male athletics. We got baseball. We got basketball. We got tennis. We got golf. We got track. The only thing that we don't have is a football program. And so, but that's like a lot of different schools, a lot of different places. Yeah. Math classes start to get a little too demanding.
Because it's math.
Yeah, because math.
Yeah,
Once you get to those certain my biggest one was probably differential equations. And so that's pretty much where you're taking an equation and then you're writing a paragraph about how this equation is correct. So English is not my strongest suit. I can articulate myself when I choose to. However,
let me be clear.
All right. Math was my strong suit, and so that's why I took that avenue. So when they incorporated those two, my attention span just wasn't seeing it. And I always felt like sports was also my motivation. Because all my time at EMCC, A's, B's, so on and so forth, I don't even think I maybe had a C in over at EMCC. But when I got to W, that's whenever, I'm not really playing sports as much, so my focus, when I was in high school, when I was even in middle school, my parents would always say, all right, if you don't have your grades, A's and B's, then you can't do sports. And I remember I was like maybe 8 years old. I brought home some bad grade on the report card, or maybe just some bad grade in general. And in that moment, they was like, hey, yeah, can't play sports. So I took all my little Pee-wee trophies down, put them all in the closet. And then later on, my folks had that conversation like, hey, look, we're just trying to teach you that education is important, and being able to have something to fall back on in your mind is important. Your physical body can only take you so far, but your brain and your spiritual mind, all of that can go with you forever.
Yeah.
Well, not your brain, but
Yeah. No, for sure.
The habits that we create on the earth.
Yeah, like that's, and you talk about that, and I know you see it for sure in the education system. Like, just how we not diminish, but I think we diminish in ourselves of like, oh, I have to do this physical thing, and it's not necessarily always sports, but it's like I have to do this thing with my hands, not realizing like how many doors your mind can open. It's like this thing of if I can't put my hands on it, do the thing, then it's not worth it. But not realizing, man, if you know how to talk, speak, love well, these intangibles things, like just how important that is for the greater world, because Lord knows we need better thinkers, better philosophers, better, lawyers, doctors, teachers. Like folks that like they do all the thing up here, right? And it's like not necessarily saying you gotta walk in and be a genius, right? Not necessarily saying that, but recognizing that you have a gift, like of who you are.
Being like having that gift, and then also being aware of like, all right, there's a certain responsibility that comes with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, cool, I can got my gift, I can use it whenever, but if I don't feel like pursuing my gift that he has, I'm still have it to, no, like, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like with your body, your gift of being healthy. But then also with that certain gift that you might have, it's like, all right, if my gift is, hearing from God, like frequently or easily, and if I'm not in constant pursuit of, okay, cool, making sure I'm prepare myself enough to be able to hear that thing, or like I say, if your gift might be something that is physical, it might be the gift of running,
right,
or the gift of being able to throw, whatever that case may be. Being able to utilize that gift to glorify the Creator who gave you that gift. And so to finish off my college background or whatever, ended up changing my major to professional studies, and I was able to have a focus in math and then a focus in public health. And so from there, I went into intramurals. While I was doing all that at MUW, I was a lifeguard, did intramurals there, and then I also went into the intramural GA, the graduate assistant. And so was there for, a year, and then end up staying on part-time at the rec, then end up going to housing for a stint as their program director, and then end up getting the teaching job a couple of months later. And so that is what landed me here. 2 years in, a year in a semester, 9 weeks.
I thought, yeah. No, that's what's up, though. That's what's up. So do you feel like you are leaning more and more into like your natural giftings right now? From
my years at camp, I was always communicating with younger kids, teaching them about God at that camp, teaching them about different camp activities that we have. Right. And so now I'm in my hometown and I'm teaching the younger generation. I got nieces that's these teachers' age. Like, say, I have a 9th grade niece, and so she's up at Tupelo. And so being able to teach 10th grade, you get a handful of juniors, maybe 1 or 2 seniors. Yeah. Now it's like, all right, I'm probably 10, 12 years older than some of y'all.
Yeah.
or maybe just or double your age, especially like I said. And so being able to kind of guide them, but also give them enough slack to be able to like still, okay, you're still you, but there's certain things that you need to know as you journey on this process to becoming whatever God intended for you to be. And so right now we finna learn this math, and you know, we're still gonna have some fun with it. We're still gonna, you know, give y'all some grace, let y'all communicate, have fun, but this is what you're here for. You're here to get education. And so there's certain stuff that you got to learn, not just by the pursuit of getting grades, but learn the discipline of studying, learn the discipline of, you know, being consistent, paying attention, taking notes. Little small things that when you get out in the real world, that's what's going to correlate. Not necessarily the numbers and the formulas and Pythagorean theorem, all these other different things, but the effort and the skills that it took to learn and to be able to retain that information.
Right. Yeah. So would you could you unpack a little bit more like the discipline, right? Like the discipline of, and specifically transferable skills, right? Like you're talking about like the study and like learning to not just like regurgitate, right? But to actually learn to take this information in and like embody it, right? So it's like, if it's math, great, but also like, what does it look like to take this habit of studying and putting forth these hours and, you know, all this time in it, and how that transfers over to life? Because I know we live it, you know. It's like, man, well, shoot, I had to learn how to, you know, wake up, go to school, like go to sleep at a good time, wake up at a good time, and, you know, make sure I'm like drinking water, eating food, you know, all these different things. Taking care of yourself. Yeah. So like, could you unpack a little bit more of that discipline, why it's important?
And so like I said, the biggest thing with discipline, everybody's still working on it. Regardless of what level they're at, everybody's still working on becoming the most disciplined version of themselves. But that discipline comes in at knowing what you have to do and then deciding, okay, cool, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm not going to procrastinate with this thing, thinking that I have extra time to do something that I might not have. And so the discipline is just honestly the consistency of, you know, striving toward whatever goal that you have set, and not letting how you feel that day affect your discipline towards that goal. Like, so for example, if my goal is to, you know, gain 10 pounds of muscle and lose some fat, get my BMI right, whatever the case may be, and if I'm setting that goal, the discipline on those days when I'm tired, or the discipline on those days when, you know, all right, I'm a little sore, I'm not really feeling good, or I got a lot of stuff going on in my life, I'm not, you know, might not be available, that has to kick in regardless of what's going on the outside. Because if you have that goal, there's a certain level of discipline that it requires for you to actually get there. And if you don't meet that requirement, you're not going to get to that goal. And so it's a current process. And so with those kids being able to incorporate that, being able to learn that, all right, nothing really comes easy. Like, there's a certain level of effort you have to put in to get out a certain outcome. And if you think that putting in the same level of effort over and over and over again, but you're not getting the outcome that you want, that means you have to change what that effort is. You got to change more of who you are to become who you're meant to be.
I think one of the hard things, like, in that is, you know, working with college students. I will say it has broadened my thoughts on it, and I still give grace, and I'm still very much like hard-nosed, you got to do these things, but it also just makes me think a little bit deeper about that, because absolutely, right, got to have discipline, got to work hard, got to do the things in order to get to where you want to go. Like, if you want to get this degree, it means you're going to have some late nights, early mornings, like 100%. Like, you are going to have that. Like, you will not finish that degree without it. Like, I mean, I'm in grad school right now. You've gone through grad school. Like, there is no, well, I just woke up and I went to bed at 2 o'clock. Like, I went to bed at, 10 p.m., every night. No.
Late nights.
Yeah, it's late nights, early mornings, nights that there are days where you're going, I don't think I could read. I had a day this week. I'm sitting in the office. I'm reading before class, and I was like, I'm just gone. I was out cold. It was like 2 minutes, but like I was like, shoot, because like I've been doing stuff for school. I got a full-time job, and I'm a full-time grad student, right? But sometimes I don't get the work done, right? And like, what do you say to those people that they're doing all the things right, but they still, like, you can't get everything done, right? Because you're limited as a human, and even if you're, let's say you grinding, right? You going to bed at 2 a.m., waking up at 6 every single night, and you just ain't got enough hours Like, how do you encourage that, that young person, that person that might be going like, dude, I'm doing everything and I'm still not getting where I want to be. Is it always on our effort to get there?
It's not always on your effort. Your effort plays a big role.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're putting your effort into the wrong thing, then God's not going to unlock that door for you, because that's not the path that he set you on. So if you're putting extra hours into, something that, all right, this might not be your strong suit, or this might not be, your purpose. Like I said, for example, I did grad school. Yeah, my grad was public health, and so when I was pursuing that, at the time I was getting ready to start pledging, and I was fresh into the intramurals. It had died off during COVID. Yeah. And so my biggest thing, like, all right, my real reason is, all right, for intramurals, I'm just doing the grad school just because it's my way open. Yeah. Keeping me a little bit of money in my pocket. Yeah. School paid for. Still got all the insurance that I need, so on and so forth. Yeah. And so put my focus in the intramurals, started that program back up, had a lot of growth back then, but my grades slacked because it was a master's program. Yeah. And so it's a little bit different versus when you're doing an undergrad. And it's also, my heart really wasn't into that program. Because, matter of fact, I talked to my, because one of my chapter brothers, he's a professor over at the W. Richard Morgan, and he's in the public health department. One of my former teachers, Miss Pintado, she came in, she's like, she's working on getting to where potentially if you failed or, you didn't finish a master's program in that specific area, you could still get into another master's program at that school. Because currently, I think we're one of the last schools to where if you fail one master's program, you can't get into anyone else. Wow. At that school. And so there's a lot of people who probably started a master's program, but it's not really the one that they were meant for. That's not the path that they had for them. Yeah. And maybe it was the right path, wrong time, or maybe it was just simply the wrong path. Yeah. And so, but if that door is completely closed, now it's like, all right, how far do I really want to pursue? But, everything happened for a reason. There are certain things that we have to go through in life to, shape us and mold us and grow us. Yeah. And so, and as we go on that, it's just a matter of, kind of taking everything with a grain of sand. Yeah. Like, obviously, our emotions going to get involved. We're human. Yeah. It's only so much that we can take. Yeah. But, God puts us in those situations to where he's testing us and he's growing us through the trials that he allows to happen to us. Yeah.
And also, we have to admit, like, sometimes, like you were kind of just saying, just like dovetailing off of that, sometimes we end up in places and spaces that weren't meant for us, and that causes harm, damage to us. I think a lot of times we can be like, man, why did God do this to me? God did not do that to you. You
put yourself in that situation.
But also, like, that doesn't mean that, like, something good can't come out of that, right? Like, we talk big around, like, the will of God, right? But it's like, well, what is the will of God? And it's like, in one of the classes I'm in, it talks about like these three different phases of like the initial, the circumstantial, and the ultimate. And that's a whole other like rabbit trail we cannot go down because we don't have enough time.
How much time do we have? This is a topic I would love to go into just to get the understanding from my perspective. Yeah, that's something that I've been pursuing myself.
Yeah. So you want me to go there?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go there. So if we're gonna talk about like these three different aspects of the one like will, right? We have to understand there are three different dimensions of it, right? There is the initial. And so one of the things it like brings up is the initial will of God is that Jesus comes to earth, right? And the circumstantial will of God is that Jesus dies on a cross. But the ultimate will was that we have salvation, right? So does that mean that Jesus had to die on that cross? Not necessarily, but that was the circumstances in which he found himself in order for us to reach salvation. And so, for me, like in being in ministry, right, like I'm in my second like seminary because I transferred seminaries, which is that's a whole thing, right? Right? And that was really difficult for me. I know the initial will was go get my MDiv. Right. But the ultimate is not necessarily where I get the MDiv from. The circumstantial was that, well, I started at one place and now I have to transfer to another. But I am still on the path in which that God set me on, which is going and getting this MDiv, getting this degree. Right. And so the thing is, the initial is like God has put this dream, this thought on my heart, right, to go do this thing. And life hit. Like a lot of life hit, and I found myself going, I don't think I'm supposed to be here, and that was rough for me, because it's like you've gotten this vision, you've gotten this call, you've gotten this, dream of yours, and sometimes the dream changes. Sometimes the vision has to change. The mission is still the same, but the vision has shifted. And so, when you think about vision statements and mission statements of a business, right?
Right.
The vision statement is what is the ideal, while the mission is what is real. These are the steps we took to get to pursue the vision, the ideal of what we wanted to have.
Right.
Now, here's the thing: that mission, that's the boots on the ground, and so you're not going to see the vision every single day because you're too busy in the mission, right? You're too busy in the trenches.
You're focused on getting everything changed or getting everything, furthering along the stuff that is working. That way, the vision does actually make sense. Yeah, because you're in pursuit of that.
Yeah, but but everybody looks at this vision and because they're so fixated on I'm doing, and they do not take that step to move back objectively to go, is the vision still intact? 9 times out of 10, it is, right? But your mission statement might have to change, how you're doing it, right? Your why won't, but your how will, like what you are doing, how you're doing it, when you're doing it, where you're doing it, that will always change, but the why won't.
Right, because it just goes back to, if you're doing the same thing and getting the same result, that's insanity.
That's insanity. You have to pivot, and that's okay. Like it's okay to pivot. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There are plenty of folks that have like failed businesses or failed dreams, yada yada yada, that have pivoted to a new vision, new direction. New mission, new direction, but like their why was very much intact, and they're still getting that thing done, but just doing it differently.
Right. And so the biggest thing that I feel like with that is like being able to discern what things I need to take from each season to season and what things I need to leave back in each season as life transitions. Like once you get to that level of discernment, that's whenever you accept the trials, you accept everything that comes with it, because you
just get in the fire.
God got me.
You just get in the pit, bro. You don't question it. You just go, I gotta get in. Like you go kicking and screaming, or you can do it willingly. Right. But either way, you gotta get in. Like you're gonna be in this and go, what do I do next? But yeah, that level of discernment is when you get there, you got there in the most unlikely of ways, in the least fun of ways.
Absolutely.
But also with these youngins, with my students, man, like it allows me to go, I'm telling you, you're going to be fine, right? Like I'm telling you, you will be okay. And I'm not telling you it's going to be fun. I'm not telling you you're going to like it. I'm telling you that there is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I think a lot of times culture, society, the world has told us that everything should be fun. And if it's, quote unquote, not serving us at all times. Now, don't get me wrong. I am one of going, if you are in a job that is making you miserable, you need to go. But you need
out of there.
Yeah, you need to recognize, is this a season of misery or is this a long-term, like did you start off miserable? If the answer is yes, we got some things to talk about. Did it end up miserable for a season because other people or other circumstances?
There's a lot of different influences that make that journey what it is.
Yeah. But like you still have this fire inside of you of like, man, I'm hopeful. I'm like, that's different. I would tell you, you gotta tough it out.
It's like a teacher starting at one school and then I don't know if it's this school, or this district, or this certain age group, because there's a lot of different things that can factor in. Because you might have the gift of a kindergarten teacher,
but you're in second grade.
You're in 6th grade, and you're like, no,
yeah, you got to move. But if you're in the right place, you're doing the right thing, and so it just sucks.
The outside forces are just knocking against you.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta go to your closet, try it out, thug it out.
that little one thug till, let it drop, and
get on back out there.
It is what it is.
And that happens. It's like a lot of folks think that, like, for me in my life, I like a lot of students and, other individuals that are, you could call them stakeholders, right? Like people that are invested. It's like, oh man, it must be the greatest job. It is, but it ain't easy.
Right.
Like, please do not mistake that this smile is like, everything is perfect. No, like, brother, my brother and sister in Christ, my family, my familia, I am going through hell. I am driving the bus out of hell right now with all of these young whippersnappers trying to tell me to turn back. And I'm telling them, we are not turning back. We are getting out of here. This is not where we're supposed to be.
Danger.
Like,
escape route.
I am trying to get you up out of here because this is not right. This is not good. Stop trying to make everything worse, thinking it's making everything better, you know. And I think sometimes I think it's difficult, especially in those those early teens, early 20s.
Right.
Were you smart? Like, you too smart?
You think you know everything until life just come in and say, okay.
Like, go to the hospital one good time, post 26, and you ain't on parents' insurance.
Man.
Go.
Look, I had knee surgery this year.
Exactly.
You ain't got to tell me.
But
I know.
I was, for those of you that don't know, I had a health episode last year, and I was in a hospital, had pancreatitis, and I just paid them bills off. Mm-hmm. Like, my wife just had knee surgery, like, not too long ago, and we gotta pay these bills, and we have to go to work. We're both in grad school, you know. We still have people that, you know, like, hey, I need to talk to you because I have life going on, you know, and we still have to tend to our souls. We still have to tend to ourselves, you know. We have certain boundaries where we go, look, I can't do it today, you know, and that's healthy, you know. It's like I can't do it today.
Communication.
Yeah, like, but it's life does not stop. It does not, but you can slow down.
Yeah, you can slow down.
You can slow down. You can absolutely do that. But
and the biggest thing, like, what's slowing down? I don't know. I feel like I've said in the biggest thing like 27 times.
I mean,
it's not everything can't be the biggest. Some got to be. Small.
It's like putting levels on like it was a bigger thing on top of a bigger thing.
And the thing is, I know what level I'm putting it on when I say it. But if I'm just in the biggest thing over and over again, everybody's like, all right, we got a whole bunch of big stuff, but like, what's?
I beg your pardon. Yeah,
these are all different topics.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just understanding that, you know, life is just a constant pursuit.
Yeah.
Whatever you're pursuing, there's a lot of stuff that can come your way. Bills, 100%. Life, family, death.
Yeah.
You know, but you just gotta keep on going. As long as you can able to do that right there,
yeah,
you have no choice but to keep going.
You gotta keep going.
Because you're either gonna stop and waddle in it and suffer even worse because you're not really doing nothing about it.
Yep.
Or
turn over.
In the pursuit of trying to get it right, or pursuit of, you know, fixing the things or correcting yourself, whatever that is for you. At least I made an effort and I didn't just not do anything to try to get better or try to grow or try to pursue whatever it is I want to do in life.
I woke up today.
Blessing in itself.
I mean, sometimes it's really that simple. Like, man, like somebody like, man, how you doing? I'm here. Like, and I don't even mean that in a fake way. Like, there is an alternative.
Right.
Like
I could be
my story could be done over, you know, like, and
but yeah, I saw fit to, hey, you need some air. Wake up. You still got work to do.
There's still more, and more importantly, there's still more I want you to do. You know, like, it's like, no, I'm not done with you yet. You know, it's like I'm not gonna let you give up on yourself because I haven't given up on you. You know, and even we understand, you know, death is not even the end. But more specifically though, thinking about us right here in this plane in the present, there's still more. There's still more life to be enjoyed, more life to be had. There's more good for you to do, you know. But you do have to go, yesterday was yesterday. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Today is what I'm focused on.
That's all I can control. And say, man, it's been good talking to you, man.
Yeah, man. Like, I think, like...
you know how long... this podcast been going on.
You know how long I've been waiting.
You know how long I've been waiting.
Ooh, about to make a name for myself. Yeah, I already know. They be like, man, I know this brother is not doing it. If this man makes one more Gambit reference on another episode, I'm gonna crash out. It's okay. I love you, and I'm glad you're here. Please like and subscribe. But anyway, I think like the biggest thing is just I try to be authentic and genuine as best I can. Give that to people.
I feel like I was trying to be too philosophical. But hey, you know, somebody needs that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what. Hey, look, you just.
I find myself trying not to go there too often.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, that's a lot of my reading. But it's like, man, there's no good of me talking with all these big words or somebody that literally just needs to hear like, hey, I hear you, I see you. You know,
we're trying to have every moment be like, all right, you're a teaching wisdom moment.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like this podcast, like this whole channel, it's not necessarily me teaching. Like it's just me being
Present in the moment.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it.
These are my thoughts.
Yeah. So do you have, like, as we like close it out, round it out, are there any thoughts that you're like, man, I want to hear about this a little bit more? Like, you have any thoughts, questions for me?
All right, I got 3 questions. First question, what current episode are you on?
Current episode
of Uncommon Legend.
Current episode.
The goal is 1,000, correct?
Well, we shifted gears. So This is like the first, 455. They count, but this is episode 12 of, the Uncommon Legend experience. So this is episode 12. In all actuality, I'm like 467 if you don't count all my shorts, reels, TikToks.
Okay.
If you don't count those, because those basically are they kind of do count,
but they're like snippets of what you.
Yeah. They're snippets of what I would say, but like yeah.
Okay. So that's first question.
Okay.
Second question: How has this journey been for you, as far as in this pursuit? From going to just doing it audio to getting to the camera setup to getting it to where you got people on Zoom to doing face to face. Like, how has that process been for you?
It's been, it's been like really eye opening. I've actually not really, like, I do actually have one more I think I'm supposed to do this weekend. We'll see, like, recording wise, and then we'll release it whenever. But it's been interesting because for this journey, like moving into it here, I'll talk about this part first, like reaching out and then not really like being afraid of the no was like kind of crazy, because it was just like, I'm just gonna reach out, I'm gonna see what they say. I don't even care. Like, if you want to do it, great. If not, like, I've got enough ideas, thoughts in my head. But it's like the biggest thing, especially on this journey, is really just highlighting people's stories and like showcasing, like, you have a story, like, no matter who you are, where you are, you have a story to tell. Like, it's just giving you that space to like flesh it out and talk about it.
All right. This is your life that you got to live.
Yeah.
This is your moment to speak about it if you choose to.
Yeah.
Being able to get through the nose, that's what all, things that are great have to go through.
Yeah. Like, and I think, like, kind of the other part of your question, moving from audio to like the video, like a lot of it was done like in isolation, I would say. Not necessarily I isolated myself, but like it was a isolating journey to be on, because it felt that I have to do this. It's me recording these. It's my thoughts, my ideas. No one's gonna give me the ideas. No one's gonna sit down at this computer and record it.
Right. No one's gonna do it all for you.
Like, what's so funny is that's my old desk that all my pops are on, and there's too many. We don't talk about it. But like, I remember buying that desk because I needed a desk in my space in Hattiesburg, because I had a really tiny. I mean, it was almost like this room that we're in now. It's my spare guest room, like, here in the house. But I mean, that room was maybe it was like this and another half, maybe. You came over once. So it was like maybe a little bit bigger than this, like I said, like another, like, it was this place and then half of this place. That'll probably be the size of it. It was like a studio apartment. It was great. It was awesome. And I had this little bitty tiny desk, and it was the middle of COVID, and I just needed a place to just flesh out my thoughts, because I felt so alone. And I was like, I can't sit in this anymore, and I found myself going, somebody else feels this way, and I want to put something positive in their ears and tell them, like, it's gonna be okay, like, yeah, you got all this stuff going on, but like, get up. Like, we got to get up, man. We got too much to do, like, or, I see you, I hear you, and yeah, you're tired, rest, because that's something I couldn't hear well. It was like, man, you better take that day off because Monday's coming, like, it's like
knowing when your body needs a break.
Oh yeah, because you will crash and burn.
Knowing when your mind needs a break. Yeah. It's like all different aspects of like, all right, it's time to rest, it's time to work.
Yeah. For sure.
It's a time to,
time to play, like all the
like all the different things that go along with it.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, it was a journey there in and of itself, and so now going into the visual part of it, and like I said, highlighting those stories and just like being open to guests, where like a lot of times I'm not like, I'm a facilitator of conversation.
Yeah.
Like all of this is just organic, like I'm not going, can you tell me about this? You know, like forcing you to talk. Yeah. like I need you. You know, like it's like talk if you want to. You know, and if this is too much right now, don't worry about it because I'm a wing it. You know, like we good. Like, it does not bother me in the slightest. And so yeah, I think being able to move from the audio and being like so feeling like isolated to moving to being in a more collaborative and, you know, I guess more confident in myself and just going like, all right, even if like I share the space with somebody, like somebody's gonna get something out of this, you know, because maybe they don't need to hear from me, maybe they need to hear from somebody else.
Perspective always shifts when you're hearing it from different people. Yeah, because somebody might say the same thing, but they're saying it two different ways. Yeah, and you hear two different stories to it. Yeah, but they're saying the exact same thing.
That's why I tell people to read a book.
You can interpret it however you want.
However you want to. Anyway, yeah. All right, so. Question number 3.
Number 3. 1 and 2 are kind of just, you know, all right, this is the podcast ending, you know. Yeah. Question number 3. And y'all gonna have them beat this.
I'll tell you one more time. And you know, when the good Lord says it's time, it's gonna be a minute, like probably another, you know, year or so, I guess. Really, like my biggest thing with it is like once we at that first year, I was like, I don't even want to think about kids right now. I
want to enjoy you in this marriage.
Not only that, but I was like, brother, I am stressed. Like,
I don't need anybody.
Being a man of the house is ghetto, and like being a cat, like we work really well, like collaborating and like doing stuff in the house. Like it's like, oh yes, you are a grown man that can wash clothes and wash dishes, and I'm like, yes, I can. You know, so it's like stuff like that. Like we got, and then it's like bills. Cause in this economy, we both got to work. Like it's hard out here in these streets.
You
Rockefeller
got your own business that's just been thriving, or you know, you doing something else. It's like both my parents work.
Yeah, I mean, same. So
it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Depending on what life you trying to live and who you trying to be. Yeah. Materialistic or, you know, just actual genuine life. Yeah. Maybe so.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so, like, we're both, like, you know, I think we're both excited for when it is time for us to settle down for kids. But, you know, the other thing was, Cat got to finish his master's degree. I'd like to finish my degree as well because Lord knows classes on top of kids.
Yeah, nah. I got to get all my schooling out before I have any.
Yeah. You know, it's like one of those things.
Unless guy got a different plan for me, but I hope he don't.
You got to get that knee ashy first.
Sure.
Don't go in it without no security on who gonna be with you in this. Yeah.
All my friends are now getting married. I'm still single.
I heard the man.
Yeah, but
he's just anyway.
Can't get enough. I love baby.
But yeah, no, I mean, all jokes aside, you know, I think, whenever the time is right, you know, after we get a lot of that settled, because, you know, I want to be able to be, you know, the type of father that like is present, you know, and is able to like actually hang out, spend time, you know, put him to bed, all the things. And like even right now with Wesley, like the way my schedule is right now with Wesley is like chaotic. I could not do it. It would be too much. I think that's like the hardest part is admitting like, okay, some things actually have to change first, but also going, there's potential, you know, like we can do this, but we do have to be wise and be like strategic on how we do it. So it's really just like in this season kind of game planning that like, okay, what would this look like, you know? And yeah, in the meantime, we just practicing.
Good old practice.
And video. So don't
yeah, ain't nothing wrong with practicing, man. Yeah. As long as you're practicing under the union of the Lord.
Yeah. So,
oh man.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing, you know. I think we're just enjoying the season right now. Because Lord knows we could not have gone on that cruise last year with no little ones. Or DC
and a cruise
and a cruise. Nah. Within 2 weeks each.
Nah.
Mommy, Daddy. Get out my face.
Sit down.
Go lay down somewhere. I can't. Dad, come on. Yeah, but yeah, man. Well, glad you pulled up. This brother drove 7 hours to be in person for it instead of doing it.
Yeah, we're not gonna do no Zoom.
It wasn't gonna even be Zoom. It was gonna be Riverside. He said Riverside, Lakeside, Lakers and 5.
In person with it.
Yeah. So I mean, I appreciate it, man, because we really out here. So that being said, appreciate you watching. Good y'all. Peace on my hair grease.
This is the outro to the episode of Uncommon Legend with my boy Albert and Jeremy Newton. We are about to start rapping. If he continues to